All right.
Again, from the top.
From the top. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to 6-Minute Increments, where we look at and explore the interplay between business and the law. And we're going forth with our series interviewing actually new lawyers to the profession, trying to learn more about that. And with us today, we have Chloe Shortz. Welcome, Chloe.
Hello, everyone. Hello, viewers. Hello, Beth and Brett.
What made you want to get into practicing law?
Great question. I never wanted to be a lawyer, actually.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I started off pre-med after my first year of undergrad.
Didn't like organic chemistry?
No, I did not. So I met with a career counselor, took a bunch of personality tests, and I kept on testing really high in law. So then I started shadowing lawyers, and the rest is history. And I pursued the LSAT and flying to law school, taking the bar, and here we are.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Any regrets?
No.
Now that you're actually doing it.
No. I like the practice of law much better than law school. While I was in law school, slightly regretful.
What did you expect getting into the practice of law?
I expected to be talking to clients, counseling. I mean, everything I expected has come true. I guess nothing has blown me out of the water by what I didn't expect. I expected to talk to clients. I expected to read. I expected to write. I expected to use my analytical skills, and all of that is what I'm doing.
What didn't you like about law school?
It's very substantive, and I think the practice of law is much more practical. So I enjoy the practicality more than the substantive law.
So can you expand on that? Like, what do you mean by substantive? Like, what was your experience? What were you doing? Because I think over the years, among our generation that went to law school, I see a big difference between my law school experience and maybe what yours was.
Right. So for example, it's a lot of learning and reading out of textbooks. We don't do that in the practice of law. We had writing classes and we maybe wrote 3 papers a semester. I write things all the time now. So I feel like the skills that they teach you in law school, such as just reading, are not necessarily practical for practicing law when I'm writing all the time and not just reading out of textbooks.
Do you feel that the law schools tried to get you to focus on creating arguments or learning what the law was supposed to be?
I think it's learning what the law is supposed to be. I don't think it fosters creativity.
And I guess that's the thing that we find the most different, actually, and where I guess that we see a need to almost work with young lawyers coming out of law schools to help you develop different analytical skills to, instead of report what the law is, it's to
interpret and apply it to the situation.
And be creative in sometimes how you see, because the law doesn't cover every situation. You have gray spots, and that's where usually most of those 6-minute increments are spent in the gray spots.
Right.
What do you think, for others who are considering law school and the practice of law, you would advise them on?
I think because there are disparities between going to law school and practicing law, I think it's important to shadow as early as you can to see if you actually like what the practice is. I mean, it's a career and it's a lifestyle choice for however long until you retire. So I think it's important to get out and see if it's something that you actually like to do before you do commit to law school.
What do you think that clients and customers who are seeking legal services don't know or understand, or you're surprised by in the interaction with them? Like, what do you think that customers need to know?
That we get paid to think. And it sounds silly, but really you come to us with a problem and we have to come up with a solution. And it's a lot of thinking on our feet, being creative and trying to work on my creative juices, get them flowing, to come up with a solution that's tailored for each client.
Do you think that the clients appreciate that aspect, or where do you see pushback so far in your career of, we focus this whole thing on the bills and the pushback that comes because sometimes that thinking creativity takes time. What's been your experience?
I think it's hard to justify, hey, I thought about this for a while. So I think it's hard to show the client that it is valuable for us to think. So trying to overcome that is being able to artfully bill and really justify your billing.
Have you gotten any pushback from clients on your bills to this point?
I have not personally.
Okay. Are you looking forward to that day?
No, I'm not.
Have you learned any tips on how to avoid that day?
Descriptive words.
Right. People like to understand what they're being billed for and why. So to the extent that can be reflected on an invoice, I think it should be.
I do think if you can get the experience, one of the best teachers of being questioned on bills are other lawyers. So if you can work with a lawyer who is in-house counsel, who is reviewing your bills, you will probably get the fastest crash course on how to do it.
They're brutally honest.
Brutal.
Which is helpful.
Brutally honest. It is helpful.
But it is helpful.
How often do you discuss or interact with the clients right now in your day-to-day practice?
A lot. I'm constantly sending direct emails, making phone calls. I have a lot of client contact.
Do you like it?
I do. I love talking to clients.
I find this sets her apart from most attorneys her age.
Yep.
She will pick up the phone and talk to people all the time.
Which
I
you've
think-
always had a great philosophy on this.
Right. If your email, usually, not always, sometimes they want a lengthy opinion, but if your email has to be more than 3 or 4 sentences long, it just makes more sense to pick up the phone. And I tell her that, and she's followed it. It's been great that she's comfortable doing that.
What would be the thing that you want customers, clients, people to know most about you and why you got into this and what you're seeking to provide them in your career?
I think I'm a problem solver. I want them to know me, know that they can trust me, know that they can confide in me with whatever problem they're having. I mean, they're seeking a lawyer for a reason. Usually, if you're getting to the point of seeking a lawyer, things must have gotten pretty bad. So I want them to be able to confide in me and trust me and know that I'm going to have their back. That's why I have no problem calling them, making myself available to them, so that we can come up with a solution to whatever problem they're facing.
Now, this is the part I guess I find hardest for people to sometimes get as they come out of law school. I guess I'm interested in your perspective. It's on the concept of trust. So how do you go about getting that trust from the client? I mean, what's your thought on that? Should they just trust you because you've gone to law school?
No, they should trust me because they get to know me and my character. I come off how I am always. I mean, I'm very true to myself. I want them to get to know me. That's why I have no problem calling, making the initial contact. And I think we just foster a relationship together, and that trust is built over time. Initially, they do have to give me the reins a little, but as the relationship builds, it should be pretty implicit.
Now, I've done talks for SCORE, the Society of Retired Executives, small businesses, and usually the number one thing that the clients say they come to lawyers for is actually knowledge. And they don't know how to get that out of their lawyer without the 6-minute increment of billing. What would you recommend, since you were saying, I want to build a relationship, I want to build trust, what would you recommend to a customer of how to build that bond with you that isn't always necessarily built? What would be the tip? How would the client learn how to work with you if it's not just making a phone call for a client problem?
I'm not sure if I'm following.
Well, I think clients hesitate to call you because they know they're going to get a what?
Well, A, receptionist. B, they're going to have to set up a meeting. It's not going to be it's not going to be direct advice.
And they're going to get
A bill.
a bill.
Oh,
Right.
So the number one, I think this is part of what, over the years of my practice, and probably yours, the clients are hesitant to call because of the bill.
right.
So it's hard to build the bond.
I think it's valuable for the client in the long run to maybe get a bill for 6 minutes, 12 minutes, what have you, for the future of their legal advice and their ability to come to you and not bounce around attorneys, not bounce around firms. I think the initial contact is important. And if you have to pay a bit more to have that relationship start to form, it's worth it.
Okay. Well, because we are very conscious of the 3-way billing right now,
Yes, this is going to be, this bill is adding up.
we will stop the bleeding
Yes. And stop the billing.
and stop the billing.
Yes.
Chloe, thank you for coming today. We appreciate you participating in 6-minute increments.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck in your career.
Thank you.